Warner Brothers and Rhino continues to do the expanded editions of our favorite Van Halen albums. Well, my favorite Van Halen records, the Van Hagar era. And we finally got the new Balance deluxe expanded edition box set. Let's check it out and talk a little bit about it.
On demand now.
The Jeremy White Show.
Welcome back to the Jeremy White Show. Make sure you like, subscribe to get more cool stuff like this. Great to be back with you after a little bit of a hiatus. Been going through some health issues and finally getting all of that sorted out. And it's great to be back in the studio. And the red is back. Red is back, baby. Back by popular demand. Everybody's like, Jeremy, why did you switch over to blue for your colors of your show? Like, I don't know. I just wanted to change it up a bit. And well, here we are. We got the red back. So we're back to the old school Jeremy White Show look. Gonna have more frequent episodes and content coming your way. So if you don't subscribe to the podcast yet, go and check it out, The Jeremy White Show, wherever you stream podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Radio. You can also stream it on your smart speaker. Super easy to just tell it, play The Jeremy White Show, and you got it. So pretty simple. This is really exciting. One of my favorite Van Halen records, Balance. There it is, baby. Look at that. Talking to babies. Of course, the classic, conjoined twins on the cover. This is the expanded edition LP double CD Blu-ray box set that Rhino and Warner have come out with this year. It's actually really cool. It's funny because I just heard Sammy tell Eddie Trunk the other day that, Eddie asked Sammy, he was like, for the longest time, your time in the band has been neglected, and finally we're getting these new expanded edition box sets. What's changed? And Sammy went on this whole thing about, how Al still pretends like Sammy was never in the band and his era doesn't exist. And of course, Al had to sign off on this stuff. So, maybe Al's, it's kind of his way of acknowledging Sammy in a way, I guess. But it's funny because Sammy had told Eddie in that interview, and he was like, Al can't pretend that he wasn't in the band because, first of all, his brother, Edward Van Halen, wrote some of the best music of his life while Sammy was in the band. Some of his greatest guitar parts, some of his most amazing keyboard songs, melodically, just experimentally with some of the songs that they were doing. I mean, like some of the best music that we've ever heard was from Sammy's era of Van Halen. So to neglect and to pretend like as if this music doesn't exist, to me, I find it's a bit of a slap in the face to his own brother. But then again, I'm not going to talk shit about Al because I've been trying to get Al on this show and do an interview with him forever. So I'm gonna refrain from saying anything further than that. But we know it exists because we finally got the expanded edition of Balance, and here it is. This is really, really exciting. First of all, let's talk about the cover. It's cardboard, really, really well constructed. It's a really cool. It's like a book. You can see it's thick. So you open it up, and inside you see some of the original artwork from the original CD with the 4 headshots, and then you got the packaging with the 2 CDs and the Blu-ray. I'll talk a little bit about what's on the Blu-ray in a second, but you open it up and you've got more photos. So it's like a triple. It's not only a gatefold, it's a triple fold. Pretty damn cool. That classic photo of the band. Pretty sick. Now inside, you've got the vinyl. There's two LPs inside of here. And by the way, it's just black vinyl. It's just black vinyl. Yeah. Standard black with the gold label in the middle. It's really heavy too. It's 180 gram. Really, really good quality. Bet it's going to sound fantastic on your record player. We've got the booklet here. Bam, look at that. How sick is that, man? Hold on, I was trying to get the glare out. Yeah, pretty damn cool. I just got to say, I love the fact that I am in 2025, and as a 31-year-old that got into Van Halen when I was like 4 years old, the fact that I can go to a store still and buy a Van Halen box set or like a new Van Halen album or anything new Van Halen is really exciting to me. So this is just awesome. So inside, we've got the booklet. It's got all of the credits. Of course, produced by the late, great Bruce Fairbairn up at, where did they record this? Little Mountain? Well, it was recorded at 5150, and then I think they recorded at Warehouse, which was Bryan Adams' studio. So it was either at Little Mountain or at Warehouse, but either way, I'm pretty sure it was Bryan Adams' studio. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bryan Adams kind of secretly sang some backing vocals somewhere or something, or Mark LaFrance or any of those Little Mountain Vancouver guys. Because that was like the long-running, worst-kept secret in the industry. Like, you listen to any of those Aerosmith or Bon Jovi or those records, Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood, a lot of those guys, they all contributed backing vocals. Which is a pretty cool thing. If you never checked out Mitch LaFon's interview with Mark LaFrance, definitely go and check that out on his YouTube channel. We got all the lyrics in the booklet. There's really cool memorabilia, some classic guitar picks of Edwards, like from the tour. Original. Oh, this is cool. They show you the covers of the cassettes and the CD, the Japanese version. Pretty damn cool. I actually personally never saw a lot of these photos before. There's a lot of never before seen photos. There's a collection of all of the 7 days a week guitar picks that were from that tour. I don't want to show you everything because I want you to go and buy this record and see it for yourself and hold it in your hands. As it defeats the purpose if I just show you everything that's in it. You won't have to go buy it, right? Like here's a great photo of Edward I've never seen before. Look at that. Yeah, pretty damn nice. I just bought a brand new Ernie Ball Music Man Edward Van Halen signature guitar, by the way. I bought a red one off a guy on Reverb. And I always wanted that one specifically because that was the Ernie Ball ad guitar. He was holding the red one. So I'm going to do a video when I get that in this week. Hopefully I'll be able to show off that guitar and show you bits and pieces of it. Oh, this is pretty cool. I didn't know they made promotional keychains. Remember keychains? Yeah, you can see them there. It's a little blurry, but whatever. Yeah, pretty cool. And there's a lot more stuff in this thing, too. It's just a lot of really cool, never-before-seen photos. Laminates from the tour, the cover of the tour itinerary, notebook and stuff. This one is the second LP. And this one has black vinyl again. And on the other side, it's got an etch of the Da Vinci kind of looking character thingy. That's pretty damn cool. That's actually frameable. I would actually frame that. That's pretty damn sick. If I ever meet Sammy and Mikey, I would totally get them to sign that. That's pretty damn cool, man. And then you move over to the CD Blu-ray combo side of things. And I got to say, I'm a little disappointed in what they actually included in this because it's not necessarily stuff we haven't already gotten or have seen before. I thought we would have got the full length extended version of that Toronto show from 95 from the Balance tour. You really only get one song live, which was the Seventh Seal. So you get that on the Blu-ray. And you get all the promo videos. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do, Can't Stop Loving You, Amsterdam, Not Enough, Humans Being. I would have loved it if they got the rights from CBS to include the performance of Not Enough from the David Letterman show. Remember that performance? Ed's playing his maroon colored Wolfgang for the first time on TV. He's playing the piano. That is one of my favorite live performances from a TV show of all time. And I wish they would have included that. Some of the rarities that they include on CD 2 is Crossing Over, Humans Being, of course, Respect the Wind from the Twister soundtrack. And then they got Live at Wembley Stadium in London, June 24th, 1995, a year and a week to the day that I was born. I was born June 12th, 94. You got the Seventh Seal, Feelin', Ain't Talking About Love, Guitar Solo, You Really Got Me, When It's Love, Jumpin' Right Now. Not exactly the best set list to represent this record, but at least it's from the era of the band when this album came out, which is kind of cool. I am disappointed in two things. One, I have to criticize Rhino once again because you still didn't give us what we want. I wanted early mixes. I wanted demos. I wanted instrumental versions of these songs. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was Van Halen store, Van Halen News Desk. They started putting up official instrumental versions of some of the songs, and one of them was Not Enough. And I still have that saved somewhere on my laptop somewhere. And it sounds absolutely incredible. The production of this record, let's talk about that first of all. It's the most organic sounding Van Halen record since the early ones. This record, for some reason, it sounds like as if you're sitting in the room with them. When you hear, Al do that do on Big Fat Money, it sounds like you're sitting right in front of his drum kit. And then when Ed's guitar, Bruce Fairbairn's production, Mike Frazier, just everybody that worked on this record at the time. I mean, I think sonically this is the best Van Halen record. And I think at the time Edward talked about how it was his favorite sounding record as well, because you listen to interviews or you read interviews with Edward, and we talk about how he really didn't like the sound of those early Van Halen records. There was so much like, plate reverb on his guitar sound, and it was panned to one side, and then if you it wasn't exactly his ideal tone. And I think by the time we got to Balance, he'd perfected it, and he just loved how his rig sounded. Al's drum, same thing. I mean, I think it's the best sounding Alex Van Halen snare drum aside from Diver Down. You listen to that snare on Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. It's okay. Like when it kicks in, it almost sounds like a cowbell tone, his snare drum. But yeah, so there you go. So that's the and there's the backside. Pretty cool. If you put the Blu-ray in, it's actually this cover as the menu that's on the menu inside of the Blu-ray. So pretty cool. I was checking it out yesterday. But going forward, Rhino, if anybody's watching this or listening to this, please, we need demos. We need early rough mixes. We need instrumentals. This is a music band. This is a band where, like, without the vocals, you can appreciate and learn something, especially for the guitar players. I mean, Edward Van Halen's guitar parts on some of those songs and the layers that get buried behind the vocals and stuff. There's so much cool things that we can discover and hear as musicians and learn from and appreciate. And just his composition. I mean, so going forward, once they do 5150 and OU812, which I hope they do, I really hope that they include instrumentals, demos, early versions, and early mixes. That's the stuff that Van Halen fans want and need. I would just love to hear Ed, Al, and Mike playing those songs, the instrumental versions. That's what I want. That's what I need. So if anybody's listening, and if we get any instrumentals in the next couple of box sets, I'm taking full credit for it. Anyways, did you pick up the new Van Halen Balance Expanded Edition box set? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And make sure you subscribe to get more cool stuff like this. I'll have more episodes more frequently going forward now that I'm back in good health. And make sure you go see Sammy Hagar and the Van Halen tribute band that's going to be back in Vegas but later next year. So it's going to be awesome. All right, have a good one.
Get exclusive interviews and bonus content on demand now. Visit youtube.com/Jeremy White Show.
The Jeremy White Show.